Hello, everyone, and welcome to still another edition of the NFL Draft Triple Take presented by UPMC. Mike Prisuta, Dale Lolley, Matt Williamson with you again. We've gone through the positions. We've gone through the positions again. And if you were with us last time, you found out what we think of the offensive prospects in terms of the top 10, 1 through 10, or as we like to present it, 10, counting it down to 1. We're going to do it on the defensive side of the ball today. And offense, we were kind of, I wouldn't say all over the place, but we had some different faces in some different places. Defensively, Matt, it's hard to imagine we're not going to line these guys up pretty close the same way.
Yeah, and this side of the ball is just flat out better, to be honest. When you do an exercise like this, you can tell right away. Like my number 10 guy, I'm sitting here thinking, boy, he may have been third or fourth on my offensive list, and so there was a lot of good players I left off my top 10 as well. This is a really good group.
That it is. Dale, why don't you lead us off with your number 10?
Okay, at 10, I have linebacker Devin Lloyd out of Utah. And the 10 spot was tough. Actually, 9 and 10 were tough on this list because I probably left about 8 guys off of here that easily could have been on. But Devin Lloyd just makes plays all over the place at every level. And so there's a lot to like there with him. I think if you look at both he and Kyle Hamilton, I don't know that there's a lot of difference there between the two players, except one has an S beside his name and the other one has an LB. They're both long, physical players who can make plays at all 3 levels. And I think Lloyd's going to be a good football player. Doesn't take false steps, just makes plays. I've
got him at number 8 on my list, and he did run unofficial 4.71, 4.74 at the combine. It was 4.66 official. And Daniel Jeremiah poo-pooed that on the NFL Network. He said, this guy's like Darius Leonard. He plays much faster than he runs. That's another one. I'm not going to overthink it. If you tell me a guy plays like Darius Leonard, good enough for my team at off-the-ball linebacker. Matt, why don't you clue us in on your number 10?
Yeah, Lloyd, in the write-up, I said Lloyd was my 11. I hated leaving him off. I left David Ajabo off too, which made my list a little easier because of his Achilles injury.
I did that too. I would not have otherwise. If he was healthy, he'd be on there.
Right. It actually made this project a little easier. And that got Dax Hill on here at number 10, who Dale and I talk about, what we talk about on the drive a lot. And Dax Hill is getting a lot of airtime on the drive. We both have fallen in love with him. I mean, he is a elite athlete, a Michigan guy, Ajabu's, teammate. I'm just going to call him a defensive back. I mean, he's listed as a safety, but he can play the slot. I'm not sure he's on an outside corner if he wanted to be.
He runs like one, huh?
Oh, man, he's really an exciting player. And as I kind of mentioned to start the show, I think I'd take Hill over everyone on my offensive list except for maybe 3 guys.
I like him so good. I have him at 9, actually.
Okay.
For a guy that a lot of people weren't talking about when this draft process started. I mean, you turn on the tape of him, you see him playing deep safety. You see him lining up. He had like 500 snaps in the slot last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's going to immediately come in and start as a nickel corner right out of the gate, whether he plays any safety or not. So there's a lot to like there with this guy, and he's got size. I mean, how many of these slot cornerbacks, guys who are capable of playing the slot, are 6 foot and 190 pounds? I mean, he's a special player.
My number 10 is cornerback Trent McDuffie from Washington, a guy who everybody loves. All the teams wanted to talk to him at the combine, and he's got on field, he's got upstairs, coach on the field rep. Not too much doubt about his bona fides. Matt, you've got him at
He's
number 9.
Yeah.
My number 9 is Jermaine Johnson, the second, the edge from Florida State. Good thing he got out of Georgia because he looked like he could dominate anywhere but Georgia. My number 8 is Lloyd. We talked about him. Matt, you've got Johnson at 8. And Dale, you've got Jordan Davis of Georgia as your number 8 defensive prospect.
Yeah, and again, it was tough slotting these guys, but I think Davis, as a true nose tackle type, he's not going to be for everybody. But, you go to the combine and you run a 4.78 40 at 6'6", 341 pounds. I'm pretty sure you've got enough explosiveness to play on passing downs in the NFL if your team so chooses to use you in that fashion. He played last year at 360 pounds. He got down to 341 for the combine. I think he realizes that's where he needs to be at. And just a lot to like there as a guy who can plug the middle of your defense.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I've got him at number 7. And
he's 6 for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care about the pass rush. The guy's a human run stuffing machine to me. He makes plays at the edge. He makes plays in the middle. He can go forward and disrupt. If he develops a pass rush, great. But I'll tell you, I took him at 7, and I'm a little surprised I didn't have him higher than that. Matt, your number 7 is a really interesting guy, Kayvon Thibodeau of Oregon.
Yeah, and one last Davis note too. You said he makes plays all over. I mean, he'll make plays on the sidelines, even when he lines up a nose. I mean, when he starts running, he's like a herd of cattle.
There's no stopping that. I mean,
no. And even the pass rush stuff, Mike. I mean, even if he's not a super developed pass rusher, if he takes a center and a guard to deal with as he starts walking back to the quarterback, other guys are going to make plays, Yeah. So I'm not super worried about that. I have Thibodeau at 7, as you mentioned. I had no idea where to put him. I almost left him off the list, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I mean, just because of all the things you read, and I hate to scout that way because I would love to sit down with him and see what what makes him tick. He was a monster recruit. Everyone a year ago thought he was the first overall pick, and I see some of those traits, but I also don't see the bend of a Von Miller or that I expected from him. I thought I'd watch his tape and be like, holy cow, is this guy unbelievably talented? But if he hits, he'll hit big.
My number 6 is Ahmad Garner, cornerback from Cincinnati. I think you guys like him a little bit more than I do.
I got him at number 1.
He's 1 for me too.
Well, there you go. That's one thing about him, you can't base it on production because nobody threw at him.
No, right.
Not only, I mean, he didn't give up a touchdown his entire college career. His career. I mean, you would think as a freshman, hey, we're gonna throw at this freshman over here and see if we can get something. He didn't give up nothing. I mean, he's a really clean prospect. I just think there's a lot there to like with this guy. A 6'3" cornerback that can run. I mean, he's my number 1.
Yeah,
it's funny. I volunteered a year at Duquesne before I was hired at Pitt, and we had Lee Bodden, and Lee Bodden didn't belong at Duquesne. It was kind of like this feeling like it didn't matter who they trotted out opposite Lee. Nobody was throwing his direction in 1,000 years. And I got that feeling with Gardner too. Like, why am I throwing at the best guy in the field at 6'3"? That's a press man corner with long arms. I mean, it's a great player.
Matt, you and I have Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback, LSU, at number 5. I understand there were some health issues. I understand there's been some inconsistency issues, but I am shooting for the high ceiling. And I know this guy can cover Jamar Chase. Not one I got to overthink. I've seen the video. He was all over him a couple of years ago down in Baton Rouge. Find that guy, develop that guy. You're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, he's also the youngest of all the corners that are definitely going to get drafted in this class. As much as I just said great about Gardner, who's my 1, it wouldn't shock me at all if 2 years from now, if we redid this list, if Stingley's 1. I mean, he may be the best corner in the league before you know it.
Yeah, I've actually got him at 2 on my list.
Wow. Okay.
And I mean, again, go watch the video of him covering Jamar Chase 2 years ago or 3 years ago at LSU.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase couldn't shake him. And that guy Stingley was a true freshman. So there's just a lot there to like. He went to his pro day and kind of alleviated any of those concerns about his speed and that foot injury that he had. He ran 4.4, good size cornerback. I mean, Stingley and Gardner are guys that just, you talk about drafts and comparing drafts to other drafts. Those 2 guys are going at the top of the cornerback board in any draft.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, 100%.
Dale, your 5 is Trayvon Walker, edge, Georgia. And then I've got him significantly higher, but tell us why you picked him number 5.
Well, you had to put him in somewhere. I like the defensive backs, as I said, 1 and 2 with Gardner and Stingley, because I think they're really special players. There's a lot of edge rushers in this draft. Walker's 6'5", 272 pounds. He kind of reminds me of an athletic version of Bud Dupree, even more athletic than Dupree, if you can imagine that. So that's pretty good already at 6'5", 272. But and I get that he played at Georgia, so he was racing everybody else to the ball, but he didn't have the production that you'd like to see out of that position. And maybe he'll be a better pro.
Matt, you have Aiden Hutchinson second. Dale's got him fourth. I've got him fourth. Why do most people seemingly perceive Hutchinson to clearly be better than Walker? What, when we look at these mocks all over the place, 90% of the ones I see have Hutchinson going first round to Jacksonville. Why is it not more of an even split?
It's funny you brought that up because this is certainly lying season. Everything you read or hear, take with a grain of salt because people are putting false information out left and right. And I'm not disputing what you say because I've seen all those mocks too. I think there's more and more buzz that Walker could go first overall. I mean, just because of the traits, and depending how much your coaches are involved in the process, coaches want Walker, front office people want Hutchinson. I think he's a little safer, where, Dale's point about Walker's lack of production is very real. I mean, it's worrisome. Hutchinson has the production.
Kind of played a different position though, right?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Walker would drop into coverage once in a while.
In the pros, he might be Hutchinson, playing that attack the pocket from the edge, and you may see some stuff. Number 3 on Dale's list is Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame. He's number 4 on Matt's list. He's number 2 on Mike's list. I have Thibodeau at 3. Again, I'm shooting for the moon and upside, and I don't care about red flags and injury and all that. Yeah. I'm projecting that 5 years from now, everything is going to work out, and these guys are going to be as good as I think they can be. Because that's always the way it works out.
That's the way the league works.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Easy.
You'll hit that.
Nobody ever gets fired either. That's
right.
But Hamilton mesmerizes me. And it's not like he made every play, and it's not like he tested off the charts, but he really looks the part to me.
He does, and I know people are caught up. Well, he only ran a 4.59 40. Well, he's 6'4", 220 pounds. So his 4.59 40 is like a 5'11 guy running a 4.45 40 because he covers so much ground with his body. I mean, you got to throw the ball over top of this guy, and you just can't do it because he's so darn big. And then he's 220 pounds. I mean, he's basically a chess piece that you can put wherever. Like I talked about when we talked with Lloyd. We talked about Lloyd. These guys, if you put an LB beside Hamilton's name, would anybody flinch? No, because he's
we talk about how fast size. He is.
Yeah, you talk. He's got really good speed. I mean, he's just a playmaker. That's all he is.
The other thing about Hamilton too, I keep mentioning these ages. He just turned 21 like last week or so. So a year or two from now, is he going to be 6'4", 2.25, 6'4", 230? I mean, he's a big framed guy. It just makes a ton of plays.
Yeah. Dale's got Stingley at 2 and Gardner at 1, as he mentioned. Matt, looking at your number 2, it's Hutchinson, Gardner, number 1. I've got Hamilton, number 2, and my number 1 is Trayvon Walker. If you guys remember our last mock draft, I had him going first overall to Jacksonville because, again, the chess piece thing, to me, positionless football and the trend of, you want to line the guy up here and there and confuse the quarterback. I think he's going to have better numbers in the NFL than he did at college, because I think at college they wanted him doing a certain job because they had a lot of other guys that at that level were relatively equal. I think when he gets to the NFL, he'll maybe be better than a lot of the guys around him, particularly if he's going to be an early pick.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, we've seen that from some other guys. Rashawn Gary out of Michigan was a guy that had no stats and has played pretty well for the Packers. We saw it with Owe last year, who went to the Ravens. Was better as an NFL player than he was in college.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying that the stats don't matter, because that used to mean a great deal to me, but not so much anymore. Not that you can't base it all on 40 times or vertical leaps either, but.
When those things mesh together, you got a pretty good football player.
Yeah, and then you get some good tape behind it, and that's why you make the top 10 list on offense or defense from the triple take guys. That's going to do it for this edition. I want to thank everybody for finding us, however and wherever you found us. I want to remind everyone that you can catch all of this type of stuff on all of the Steelers' social media platforms. We're going to stay at it until draft night, so keep it here until the next time. For Dale Lolley and Matt Williamson, I'm Mike Prisuta. You've been listening to the NFL Draft Triple Take, presented by UPMC.